Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. And we're delighted to have as our special guest today 400-meter world indoor champion and 2012 Olympic 4x4-meter relay champion, Chris Brown of the Bahamas. Hello, Chris. Lovely to see
Hello.
you, and a big thank you for joining us.
Hello, Anna. Thank you for having me and good seeing you as well. As normal as usual. Always a pleasure. And thanks for having me.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
So, once again, the last fortnight was quite intense, including two Diamond League meets, as well as the NCAA Division I championships, several national championships, US under 20 champs. So we'll start right away with the NCAAs, which saw the best result of them all, a world record. Jacoby Tharp, the 2024 under-20 world champion and a sixth place finisher in Tokyo last year, improved the 110 hurdles world record already in the semifinals, lowering it to 12.75, destroying his PB, which used to be 13:01, and taking 500ths off the mark set in 2012 by compatriot Arias Merritt. Tharp won the final in another fast time, 12.90, ahead of Kendrick Smallwood, 12.95. Now, Chris, we knew Tharp is a super talented athlete. Did you expect him to take such a big chunk off the world record at the NCAAs?
Not at all. Based upon how he was competing, you would expect him to keep dropping and dropping. Then at a major global championship, you would look to see him improve and on that caliber of competition and level of competition. But to see him do it at the NCAA division, it's a huge accomplishment for him. First of all, kudos to him and his accomplishment. And to see him perform like that underneath those circumstances is a huge accomplishment. And I'm sure him and his coaching staff and his team are very hyped and excited going into any championships, knowing that you've been that consistent. And if you can PR that big, that soon at the NCAA, imagine what you're going to be able to do at a global championship. So kudos for him and his team for performing like that and being able to still remain confident, knowing that you still have a lot of work to do.
Definitely. Now, as well as Tharp's world record, there were other excellent performances in Eugene, mainly in the sprints. We'll mention all the best marks as usual in the top marks, but I'd like to highlight the best of the best here, starting with Nigeria's young 400-meter runner, Samuel Ogazi, who ran a blistering 43.38 to retain his NCAA crown and climbed to number 4 in the all-time list, behind legends like Wade van Niekerk, Michael Johnson, and Butch Reynolds. An Olympic finalist 2 years ago at 18, Ogazi had already clocked 43.82, 43.95, and 44.02 this year, making him the best and most consistent quarter miler of 2026. Now, Chris, the 400 meters are your territory. What do you think of Ogazi?
I think he's in a class by himself. Congratulations to him and his performance. Being that consistent, it just shows that he has a lot left in the tank. He's trusting his coaches. He's believing in himself, and his confidence is growing every time he steps on the track. He wants a title. He wants a major global title. And I think that the way he's performing now, he's basically performing against himself on the clock. And as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to be able to get that crown that he's looking for.
And Chris, there's another exceptional talent, 19-year-old Jonathan Sims of the USA, who has been dominant in his age group.
Yes, he's been consistent as well. It's going to be a good show because, now I'm just happy to know that I'm not actually in the race with these guys, because the times that I ran in my era versus the time that these guys are running today are totally different times, So I'm just happy that I'm not in the race with them. But if I was, I'd probably been running my 43s just as well or just as good as those guys. But consistency is key here. Taking care of their bodies is what they're going to do after their performance on the track. Now they have to make sure that they are able to sustain themselves, especially if they're going towards 2028. Running these fast times now, they mean nothing if you cannot be able to duplicate that when you get to the global championship. So it is good that they're consistent and they're in a league all by themselves, but the consistency and the health is going to play a huge factor in where they go now and what they do now. So I'm looking for a good showdown. Hopefully we'll be able to see a 42 seconds coming out of these guys, because they're very consistent with 43 seconds. So 43 now is the norm of 44 mids and 44 lows. So these guys want to go in and venture in a different territory, and I'm just glad that I'm alive to see it.
Wow. Now, another young sprinter we have spoken about several times this year is Kayinsola Ajayi, who won the 100 meters in an excellent, albeit slightly windy, 9.72, with the wind marginally over the limit at 2+2.2 meters per second. And that's the number equals 6 mark in any wind conditions. Now, Ajayi has been announced in the lineup for Prefontaine Classic at the beginning of July. So it'll be really interesting how his debut in the Diamond League works out. Among the women, the best also came in the sprints. British Virgin Islands' Adeja Hodge continues her extraordinary season, setting world-leading performances in both the 100 and the 200 with 10.63 and 21.68, both very high caliber performances, even though Hodge was then defeated in the 100-meter final by her compatriot, by Shanice. So, Chris, Hodge has had a fabulous year so far and tops the 2026 lists in both the 100 and 200. What do you think of her performances?
I think she's, again, in a class by herself, performing the way she's been performing all season, even with one defeat. The body gets tired at some point. You may not have the best start, or you find, ways where you could improve with making a mistake to get beat. And it just shows you that on any given day, it can be anyone that can actually perform. And she's been going through this competition over and over again. She's been to the major championships before, so she knows what it takes to get back there. And she also knows what it takes, that if any slight mistake that you make in a competition, it can cost you. And I think that is what she recognized, and her coaching staff and her team, they're going to go back to the drawing board and fix those mistakes. That way she can consistently be consistent and going up against top competition. In the college era, they are competing regularly against top competition. So they're going to get their bodies primed and ready to compete, versus the professionals who may have one race spread out every month or every 2 months, something like that. So the professionals have to come ready and prepared, because these college kids, they've been competing. And so their body have already been through the vigorous rounds and going up against head-to-head competition. So I think that the way she's performing now, again, health is going to be one of the main key factors in what she does from now leading into a global championship. As long as she can maintain staying consistent, she'll be fine. She can find herself on the podium. It's an any woman, any man race, and I'm looking forward to watching the head-to-head competition, because competition brings out the best in everybody when they're going up against each other. You always want to see what the end result is going to be like, and who's going to be victorious. So I'm looking forward to watching the head-to-head competition and seeing who's going to be crowned the next champion, and who's going to come back and just defend whatever title they have to defend and be out there, be a force to be reckoned with.
Exactly. You have a very good point there, that these college kids are race sharp, and the pros better looked out when they start competing on the Diamond League circuit against them.
Correct. The pros know that, they cannot step on the track unless they know they're at least ready to go 10 seconds or better. Guys, 9 seconds or better, because these college kids, they get in races and race shop, whereas the professionals, their race shop is practice. They got to go to head-to-head battle and practice, and then they got to test their skills against the pros. I mean, the collegiate athletes who've been consistently running. So it's going to be interesting to see. But again, pros will always make sure that their face and their name is always going to be highlighted. They know what it takes. They know what it takes to run around. So it's going to be interesting. Plus, you also have a new generation of athletes that they are very consistent and very hungry for whatever title that there is out there. So it's going to be interesting.
Thank you, Chris. Now, my last pick is 400-meter specialist Dejania Oakley, who took the title in a world-leading 48.79. Now, Chris, 21-year-old Oakley is an athlete who is not very well known on this side of the Atlantic, even though she was part of the U.S. relay that took silver at the World Championships last year. But she has greatly progressed in 2026.
Yes. She's a diamond in the rough. I think she has a point to prove. She's very smooth with her transition. She's patient. She's very, very patient. So I think for her, making her debut on this global stage is going to be key for her to remain focused, remain patient, and just let it come as she's been doing all season. But I definitely think that she wants to stamp her name in the record books as a global contender, and she's very well on her way to doing that. So I'm gonna really be paying attention to see how she performs throughout the world stages and the global competition that she's going to face. And she also knows too that, hey, college is over and college is one thing. Now I gotta go and see how I stand up against the pros and what that looked like. So she has to make sure that she maintains a healthy season as well. So anybody who's competing right now, they already know that they can run fast. It's what you do to maintain and to be consistent with running fast against the ones of you've seen already on TV. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm definitely a huge fan. I'm going to watch her and see what she does going forward. And that's my event, the 400 meters. So I just want to be able to see how fast she can actually go, because she has a lot left in the tank, especially in the straightaway.
Thank you, Chris. Now, with so many top performances, it's no surprise that this year's NCAAs totaled the highest ever score for the championships, 1,075,406, which is over 1,300 points more than the previous best, which was the 2023 edition.
Wow.
So let's move now to the Diamond League. The latest meeting of the series took place on 19 June in Doha after being postponed from 8 May. Now, in spite of the fact that the weather is pretty hot in June in Qatar, there were 3 world leads and some very good performances. And the first athlete I'd like to mention is South Africa's Sinesifo Dambile. He was the fastest man at the 200-meter start line and improved his PB to 19.74, winning his first Diamond League meet after second spots in Stockholm and Oslo. And this was just 3 days after a superlative performance at the Ostrava meeting, which we will discuss later. Other male athletes to excel in Doha included Greek pole vaulter Emanuel Karalis, who took his first diamond win this season after faux pas in both Kochau, where he was 7th, and Oslo, where he was 6th. Also excellent was Portugal's triple jumper Pedro Pichardo, competing for the first time since retaining his World Championships crown last September. Pichardo soared to a world-leading 17.71 meters in his second attempt, and this was the first high-level competition in triple jump of the year, as Jamaica's Jordan Scott landed at 17.69 and Algeria's Yasser Mohamed Triki at 17.67. Among the women, best performances came in the 400 with and without hurdles. Slovakia's World Championships bronze medalist, Emma Zapletalova, took her 4th consecutive Diamond League win, improving to an excellent 52.30, another world lead and the number 6 mark of all time. Over the 400 flat, Olympic world champion Mary Lady Paulino took a clear win in 48.91 in her Diamond League debut. Now, the next result I would like to highlight came in the triple jump from Cuba's Davisleidi Velasco, who sailed to 15 meters 13, the longest jump since 2023, before the dominant world record holder Yulimar Rojas suffered a serious Achilles tendon in April 24, and the first over 15 meters since that year, when Dominica's Thea Lafond marginally broke the barrier to win the World Indoors in 1501 and the Olympics in 1502. Now, while the mark is good but not exceptional, it's a sign that hopefully Velasco can help shake up the event out of the stagnation that took hold since Yulimar was sidelined by injury. Any thoughts, Chris, from Doha Diamond League?
Well, the heat seems like it didn't affect them that much. As a matter of fact, it seemed like it helped them out. You know, the warmer the temperatures for some athletes, the better it is because they perform better underneath the circumstances. And it seems like the heat gave them some fire for them to be able to do what they was capable of doing. World leads, world records, being consistent. It shows too that, again, they're testing the waters and seeing where they stand. And they also sending a message to the younger athletes to let them know that if they're coming for it, then they got some work to do because they're not just going to give it, but you have to fight for it because, again, the pros are not willing to really just give it. They're not going to hand it to you. They're going to make you work for it. And they also understand their seasons are just starting off, whereas the collegiate athletes' season are coming to an end. So the collegiate athletes have to make an adjustment versus the pros. The pros are still doing what they've been doing, starting off this kind of time of the year and just getting warmed up. Now for the pros, things are just going to heat up as the season goes along, where collegiate athletes, some of them may start slowing down. Some of them may find injuries here and there because the body could only sustain itself for so long. So now that you're seeing what the pros are getting started, now you bring those two competitions together. You're going to have some fireworks, and I'm excited. Like I said, you see the different generation change. Some rise above, and some don't, and some got to go back to the drawing board and start all over again. But this is what competition is all about, you know. Iron sharpens iron, and if the NCAAs and the collegiate athletes is going to start it off, then the pros are going to pick up right from where they left off, and they're going to continue it on. And some of the pros will go with it, but it's a nice mixture. It's a nice balance. It's always good to see new talent show up in the sport. It lets you know that our sport is growing, and our athletes are developing really quick and really fast, and they're hungry for the next. They're hungry for whatever it is that's out there, and it's just going to be good to see a combination instead of seeing the same faces all the time over and over again. So I'm always welcoming new talent to the table, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen when they do clash and meet together face to face, and who's going to be victorious.
Definitely. Now, 9 days earlier, the second Scandinavian Diamond League meeting had taken place in Oslo. In spite of cold weather and even some rain, total of 3 world leads were set there. And I continue to be amazed by the extraordinary performances of Alison dos Santos this year, performing consistently at superlative level. He has dominated the low hurdle so far, and Oslo was no exception, as the lanky Brazilian clocked another extraordinary time, 46.89, taking one more clear win over Norway's world record holder Karsten Warholm, who finished in 47.40. Another great moment in Oslo was the second straight Diamond League win for 17-year-old Cooper Lutkenhaus after Stockholm 3 days earlier. But this one was special, not just because the time was faster, 1:42.08, but notably because the young world indoor champion defeated Olympic and world champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi by just 1/100th of a second. Wanyonyi had led until 600 meters, then Lutkenhaus passed him, and though the Kenyan tried to respond, he had to accept defeat. After the race, Wanyonyi, who had skipped Stockholm to be with his wife as she gave birth to their first child, expressed his admiration for Lutkenhaus. And the sign of the two champions hugging after the finish line was really a beautiful image of camaraderie and sport and respect. So, Chris, Lutkenhaus is an amazing young athlete, and this year he proved that he can win both championships and Diamond League races against the world's elite.
Yes, these guys, hats off to them. They're performing and doing what they love to do. And being able to perform in one of the oldest stadiums, which is one of my favorites as well. I had great fond memories of performing in Oslo. I think, being in that stadium, it gives you a different type of electricity that runs inside your body that only an athlete that steps on that track knows what it is that they're up against and who they're competing against. But to be able to watch, these guys go back and forth, they've been doing it from junior levels and they've now entering the senior levels. It to them is like picking up right from where they left off and seeing that it's friendly competition, it's friendly rivalry, it's good competition, it's good for the sport. And, just watching how they perform lets you know what kind of work you have to do behind the scenes to be ready for the competition level at all times, because at any point, on any given day, anyone can take the crown. And it just goes to show you right here that he's like, I'm not going to just give it. You have to work for it. And one mind was on the baby, knowing that he's getting ready to see his new baby come, and his mind was on the competition. He just wanted to finish the race. So I'm thinking that his next competition, it probably may be a different outcome, but I'm going to be excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, so am I. So 5,000 meters, Ethiopia's Adiso Yihune clocked an excellent 12:47.62 to win a fast, deep race where the top six all finished under 12:50, including runner-up Birhanu Balev of Bahrain, who with 12:47.73 took 4 seconds off the Asian record, which had belonged since 2023 to his compatriot Albert Ropp. Further down the field, in 8th place, Australia's Kai Robinson concluded his effort in 12:50.82, taking almost 5 seconds off the continental best set back in 2004 by Australian great Craig Mottram. And finally, a welcome return to victory for Botswana's Letsile Tebogo in a fast 19.84 as the reigning Olympic champion steadily gears up after a slow start in May. Chris, good to see Letsile winning again, isn't it?
It sure is. For 1 minute, I was starting to get a little worried because he performs very well, and he's a very quiet guy, but he shows his action on the track. So it's good to see him back to top form. And like I said, we as watchers don't know what he goes through for conditioning in his practice session, and you don't know what may have been bothering him over the last several years. But again, he's now overcome that, and he's back to top form, and this is what he does best. He's a performer, and again, once you set the tone of being a performer, you want to continue to keep that high class competition coming. But there's nothing that you can actually do when an injury shows up. And once that happens, people don't see you at your best. But what they start speculating and start saying, oh, he's a one-hit wonder, or oh, is he this, or he's going to be able to do that. But the conditioning phase of still being able to train your body despite having an injury that you got to work around to be able to be consistent just to get back out there is a lot already on one's body. But we know as athletes that you still have to keep going, because the minute you stop, then you lose so much, and it's so hard for you to come back. And some athletes don't come back from it at all. Some of them take a year off to get the injury out of the way so they wouldn't mess up their reputation. But it's all about knowing, having the right team next to you to still be able to be consistent. And so to be able to see him back there winning forms and ways again, it's going to be a good showdown, and I'm excited, and I want to see how fast he can go being 100% healthy.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Now, among the women, top result also came from a variety of events. Best performance was shot putter Chase Jackson, who renewed with victory in an excellent throw of 20 meters 74 to sign her first Diamond League win of the year. Other ladies to excel in Oslo were St. Lucia's Julian Alfred, who clocked a windy 10.76 in the 100 meters. In the low hurdles, Emma Zapletalova had taken her third straight Diamond League win in 53.13, as the event has found a new leader, while the lady who dominated in 2025, Femke Bol, tries her hand at the 800, and Sydney McLaughlin-Livroni, who chose to compete on the flat last year, takes maternity leave. And finally, a special mention for China's young javelin thrower Yan Zhiji, who took her second straight Diamond League win with 67.11 meters. Now, while the performance did not match her extraordinary throw of 71.74 in Xiamen, it is the second best mark of the season and shows that Yan, who only turned 18 last month, is more than capable of taking on and defeating competitors who have far more experience on the international circuit. Now, Chris, seeing amazing performances in different events, McLaughlin, Livroni, and Femke Broeders-Bol trying out new events. Did you ever wish you had tried your hand at some other event than the 400? And what would have been your craziest choice?
I have, and it's good to see that happen. And my craziest choice would have been the 100 and the 200 meters, because that is what I actually started off competing in, the 1 and the 2. So I would have probably picked maybe the 1 and the 200 meters to be my next events, because I got the foot speed. I had the mindset. Probably might have to build the body up a little bigger, but at the end of the day, this is who God made me, who I am. So I would just have to take that and go with it. But I've seen sprinters that were able to do a lot of damage with the same body structure and height that I have. So I think that I stand a good chance of being able to compete. Now for my longevity, a lot of sprinters, because they perform at such a high rate and always being injured, I think that is the reason why I strayed away from that event. I did a few hundreds and 200s in my career, personal best of 10.26 in the 100 and 20.57 in 200 meters. But again, I just felt like I would be able to last longer in the sport during the 400 meters than I would be able to do in the 1 and the 200 meters.
I never considered adding the hurdles.
No, I think that's the craziest event in the track, and my mind wasn't wired up that far yet to go to the 400 hurdles. But I also did the 800 meters as well, 149.57. So I tried my hands at a few events, and I found out that, I didn't want to keep going with the 2 laps because that's too vigorous and too much time to think. And the 200 meters was too short, and the 100 meters was too short. It don't give you enough time to think either. So I found the balance in between the 400 meters, which everybody's not crazy enough to do it, and it only allows you a certain amount of time to think. And before you start, it's already on the way of being over. So I think I found a perfect balance between my personality and the 400 meters that mesh well with me and allowed me to continue and having a lot of success behind it. But kudos to everybody who's trying something new. You just never know where you're going to find that success, because we are athletes and we are talented and we want to master what we do. So kudos for those who are out there trying something new. And hopefully maybe one day in the next life, I'll come back and do a different event. Maybe I'll do the Masters and try a different event. Maybe the 1 and 200 meters might I'll be able to get away with it there.
That would be cool. Now, my crazy dream would have been to try the pole vault, but women didn't contest the event when I was a pretty ridiculous athlete. So I didn't even have a chance to try it out.
Oh, maybe I'll put together a competition and have you special guest and just put it at a certain height.
Maybe I can jump over 1.50 meters.
I'm sure.
Not sure much higher. We'll see.
Yeah. You for your age category and being out of the sport for this many years, then I'm sure you could be able to get at least that. But probably if the incentives was very great at the end, you would go a little higher than that. You PR every jump.
absolutely. That's sure. It'll definitely be a PR on my first competition.
Yes, it definitely will.
Mm-hmm.
Setting the stage and having good incentives opens the door for more and more successful athletes to climb aboard, because they want to know at the end of the day that the sport is allowing them to be paid, and not just while they're competing, but also paid when they're retired from the sport. So that has to be a case as well, to know something has to be open for them to be able to have that long-term success as well as the financial gain and benefits.
Now, Swedish skier Ingemar Stenmark, who had the record for the most wins in the World Cup before it was broken by Michaela Schifrin, he is now doing pole vault. It's
Wow.
fantastic. He's taking part in masters competitions, and he's obviously enjoying it because he's been doing it for a few years. So there's a few crazy people like me and him out there.
Oh, I'm sure. And it probably was a passion of his for years to be able to compete in track and field. Most people know too that, being able to compete in the sport that they love, they look at the numbers and run the numbers first to see how can I make a living? Is it financial beneficial for me to make this decision versus, okay, do something different that's going to be able to sustain my life, for set me up for life. And then they know at the end of the day they can always come back, because we also have a master's division as well. So no matter how long you're gone from the sport, that passion, that love, and that desire still is going to pull you back in one way or the other, and you're going to be able to give back to the sport. And that's what we are doing today. So again, kudos to you and your team for doing such a fantastic job and keeping the sport alive. And I wish you all the best in the success in your future endeavors.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
So let's go back now to recent competitions and look at the level just before the Diamond League, the Continental Tour Gold meets. 13 and 14 June, main event on the 14th, USATF Los Angeles Grand Prix. Excellent performances, including sprinter Kenny Bednarek, who clocked a windy 9.72, as we saw, number 6 equal mark in any wind conditions, and Christian Coleman, second in 19.84. But the outstanding athlete in Los Angeles was Tara Davis Woodhull, who set 2 PBs, 7:20 in a long jump, as well as a windy 7:25. And her performance is the longest jump since 2024. Malaika Mihambo 7:22 to win the European Championships in Rome. But Tara also clocked 12.47 in the 100 hurdles, second only to Masai Russell and defeating specialist Grace Stark. Now, that was a huge improvement for Davis Woodhull, who had last competed over the hurdles in 2021, setting her then PB of 12.75, and she also had a windy 12.61. So, Chris, did you expect such top competition from Tara, not just in the long jump, but also in the hurdles?
I was not. I was surprised. She gave me a surprise and a show that I think she surprised everyone, because, she's a quiet person. She's very what do you call it? She's full of antics on the track, and so that kind of draw you away and pull you away to watching her on the track, and she draws the crowd in. But to see her perform the way she did was very amazing. It just goes to show you too that what they're getting ready for is 2028, and they're looking forward to being able to compete at home at the Olympic level at home. Some of these athletes made the Olympic team, was only able to compete at the Olympic Games away. But now knowing that 2028 is coming, they're preparing themselves and they're getting themselves ready, and they're giving themselves any opportunity to make Team USA, because you can perform very well today and the trials could be tomorrow. And even though you did very well yesterday, you still have to bring that to the table the next day. So she's preparing herself for more than one event to get her ready. She don't want to just walk away with a long jump gold. She wants to be able to have several medals around her neck and in front of her home fans in her country. And she wants to do that. And she's letting you know she's sending the message.
Thank you, Chris. Now,
Thank
as
you.
we enthuse about Tara Davis Woodhall, we must not forget the winner of the 100 hurdles, Olympic champion Masai Russell, who clocked an
Yes.
excellent 12.26 to sign the third best mark of the season after her victories in the 2 Diamond Leagues in China in May. And just days after, in Europe this time, there were great expectations for the Ostrava Golden Spike. The men's highlight, as expected, was the 150 meters showdown, where quadruple 200-meter world champion and reigning Olympic champion Noah Lyles destroyed the world best, which had been set in April by his Jamaican rival, Kishane Thompson, and Niles lowered it from 14.92 to 14.67. And behind Lyles, South Africa's Sinesipho Dambile, who was the world under 20 200 meters bronze medalist in 2021 and a finalist over the 100 meters last year in Tokyo, also ran under the previous world best with 14.78, continuing to showcase his great progress over the last 2 seasons. And behind the two, Australia's 18-year-old Gout ran an excellent 14.96 to move to equal number 6 in the senior lists and top the world under 20 lists. Now, we're seeing a lot of young new sprinters this year. We've already spoken about Nigeria's Kayinsola Ajayi leading the 100 meters list until this weekend when Oblique Sevilla improved the mark at the national championships. This one is a surprise to me, I must admit. Cayman Islands, Jaden Reed, born in 2005, tops the 200 meters, clocking 9.63 as the NCAAs and overtaking Gout, who had the world lead with his world under 20 record of 19.67. South Africa's Sinesipho Dambile, we've mentioned, progressing on both distances. And we are still waiting for 21-year-old Jordan Anthony to repeat his indoor success outdoors. And in the meantime, we have underage athletes quickly growing. Under 20s, Gary Card of Jamaica over the 100, Tate Taylor of the US, especially over the 200, under 18s, Dylan Mitchell, and Trinidad and Tobago's Alice Seepersad. So, Chris, it seems to me that we're seeing a wider than ever variety of talents from different countries excelling in the sprints. Do you agree?
Yes, totally agree. There's nothing like motivation, being in the islands or the Caribbean or being in the US or being overseas in Europe or Asia or Africa. All it takes is one person to show that it can be done. And that gives hope to a whole different generation. It ignites a whole spark, and that spark becomes a flame, and everybody wants a piece of it. And so they're going to do whatever their best is that they can do. And they asking questions. They have access to social media, so they can reach out directly to some of these professional athletes. And so they're hungry for the same success. They're thirsty for that same type of adrenaline rush. And they believe that if I can see my home girl or home boy do it, I can do it as well, and I can do it better. And so they're putting in extra work. They're doing their researches. They're studying the sport. They're learning from other people's mistakes. They're asking questions, and they're hungry for their own success. And so what you're seeing now is nations are inspiring different nations, and everybody's getting excited, and they will all want to be a part of it. And they know if you can do it, then I can do it as well, and I can do it better. And that's why you see a lot of young talent that's rising now, showing you that it's not going to take me 5 or 10 or 15 years to do what you did or what you did over 20 years. It'll take me 2 years to do it, because all I have to do is put in the work and put down the gadgets. A lot of them putting on the gadgets now, and they actually going out there and putting in the work. And they're also being trained by athletes that are that knows the ropes and can tell you, hey, don't waste time doing X, Y, and Z. Just go ahead and do this. This is what you need to do. And so they're being coached and they're being mentored by a lot of elite athletes or elite coaches that knows the sport. And again, the technology is changing as well. The surface on the track is getting better. And they just want to see how fast they can actually go and push themselves to the limit. So you're going to have different generations just rising up all above. And it's exciting for the sport. And it's exciting to see different champions, whether it's 2-year champion or a 3-year champion, but it's also good to see new faces show up on the scene and be able to get a title and take down some of the no names out there. So it's exciting for the sport, and it's good for different countries and cultures to be able to see that it's possible. Once you put your mind to doing it, anything is possible.
Thank you, Chris. So let's go back to the Golden Spike meeting in Ostrava, where, so while sprints always get the most attention among the women, there was another spectacular performance in the 800 meters by Switzerland's Audrey Wero, who took one more win in a faster 154.45, well ahead of Femke Broeders-Bol, 157.13, who is still learning the ropes of her new event. And as the Dutch star explained, she's not used to running in a group and to have to run tactically. So congratulations to Femke for starting out on a brand new event. It takes courage.
Yes.
Now, Chris, with Wero performing so well, Keely Hodgkinson still very hungry. She said several times she wants the outdoor as well as the indoor world record. When Femke figures out her new event, we could finally see the 800 meters women times exploding.
Yes, definitely. It's nothing like when you're new to something, you have to learn it. And when you're learning something new for the first time, it's difficult until you can get it, the pattern down pack, until you can get your mindset on not focusing on how to execute it in practice and trying to still stay consistent with meeting those times. Once an athlete focus now is on, okay, I've found it, I figure it out, I've got it, and now they just got to go out there and see, put it together and make it work. That is where the excitement comes for them, because now they've studied it enough. They've been back and forth between the material and off the track and the coaches and what they needed to do, whatnot. And now that they've figured it out, now it's time for them to explode. So once she gets the pattern down pack, it's going to be tough to beat her, because she feels like, hey, these girls got 3, 4, 5 years, some of them 10-year experience over her. And so becoming young in the sport and learning it now and starting to pick up and being as consistent and still being able to compete with the top girls right now, it shows her that she's going in the right direction, and with a little more confidence and a little more training, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Thank you, Chris. Now, I'd like to focus on some superlative performances by under 20 athletes, both in the US, in Europe, and around the world. US under 20 championships were held in Eugene on 18-19 June. So spots on the US team for the under 20 World Championships, also in Eugene later this year, were on offer, and there were excellent results across the board. We will see them all in the top marks section, but I'd like here to highlight one event, the 110 hurdles on the 99 centimeters height, which saw a total shakeup of the all-time lists. Lee Ezra Brown clocked 12.95 in the semis, which is the second fastest ever under 20 mark. But he was then marginally defeated in the final by Zacchaeus Brox. Both were given a time of 12.98, making Brox the fifth fastest ever in their age group. And behind them in the final, Jashawn Lloyd was third, and Joshua K. Smith in fourth, clocked 13:01 and 13:06 respectively, to climb to number 10 and number 14 on the under 20 all-time list. And it's even more special knowing that the top three in this race all ran under the previous high school record of 13:05, which had been set by the man who recently destroyed the senior world record, Jacoby Tharp. So, Chris, these young US hurdlers are amazing and could challenge Tharp and all the best seniors in a couple years.
Yes. What you've seen here, the U.S. 110 hurdles, just like any other event, they've always had depth, and it's always interesting to see that one mistake can cost you big time. And the way these guys performing right now it just goes to show you that their mindset is set on 2028, and they want to be on that train that's heading to LA, and nothing is going to stop them. And it doesn't matter what age category they're in. They want to compete with the best. They want to be able to show the best that they are capable of doing the same thing or even doing it better. And so now what you're seeing now is 18, 19-year-olds now competing at a totally different level that you've ever seen before, because they're hungry for it. Again, it's in their backyard. The major championship is coming in their backyard, and they're getting excited. It's like watching the World Cup. Seeing somebody asked me the other day, why is it that these World Cups are so they're so competitive? Rather than watching it when they're playing for clubs. So when the reason why is because now you're playing for country. You have your country support that's following you globally, and they're cheering you on to give you the home crowd support. And it goes on now. Whoever have the biggest noise in the stadium and whoever going to give their home crowd support takes the crown. So these guys know what's at stake in track and field, and they know that they're going to have the home crowd advantage, and they're using that right now to build their momentum. And again, the USA has always been deep in that event, and so these guys know at any given day it can be anyone on the podium, and they want that spot because the Olympic Games comes around every 4 years. And I couldn't tell you the last time it was in LA. I wasn't born yet, probably not, but I'm interested in to see it. I want to be there in person to watch and witness it, and just be able to see the new talent that's going to show up on that given day.
Yeah, definitely. LA Olympics are a huge motivation for the young US athletes and for all
Yes.
US athletes.
Yes, when the Bahamas was hosting the World Relays, and we heard that we won the bid to host the World Relays, my teammates and I, we took that to another level, because one, you never get to compete at home, so you don't know what that feels like. And then two, you know that the majority in the stands should be your home people, and they should be ready to support you and pull you through that to victory. So to be able to get home and to be able to compete in the front of home soil and have that home crowd support, it's just something that's priceless. You can't put a price tag on it. So I know what they're going through, and I know what they're feeling, because I felt it before, and it's a great adrenaline rush, and it's exciting. It's motivational, and it's something that you have to experience for yourself, and not many are going to do it. But I wish everybody who's competing to stay healthy and have a successful season, and gather up yourself and take care of their bodies for that day, because it only comes once every 4 years, and who knows when it'll be back in the US again. So just take care of the bodies and just be ready to perform on that day.
Absolutely. And I remember the first edition, especially of the World Relays in the Bahamas. I mean, the enthusiasm, the noise level, the festivities with the junk canoe, the fans with cowbells, it was totally amazing.
Yes, it definitely was. And being out there in the field, and that was for you. So being on the field, it just made you feel invincible. It made you felt like your country is supporting you 100% all the way, and you're willing to give them every ounce of whatever it takes to get across that finish line victorious. So it didn't pan out where we wanted it to, because again, you're competing against a powerhouse. And any sport that you do, you got to know that you always got to be on your A game when you compete against a powerhouse, a country like the USA. So kudos for all of those who will be making their way to LA or trying to make their way, and for all the new talent that's coming up. It's always good to see that the sport will continue to live on, and look forward to seeing everybody in LA.
Definitely. Now, There were some really great performances also across the Atlantic in European meets. 13 June in Pierre-Bénite in France, Cuba's Jorge Jodelin, who had finished just off the podium at the World Indoors in March, soared to 8 meters 46, adding 8 centimeters to the World Under 20 record, which had belonged to Italy's Mattia Furlani. And at the same meet, another under 20 athlete, France's Zakaria Dia, added a huge 12 centimeters to his PB, clearing 5 meters 82 to climb to number 2 in the under 20 all-time list, second only to Mondo Duplantis. Now, there was also an exceptional result coming from Japan in the senior national championships. 400-meter hurdler Taiju Goto, who only turned 17 last month, first won his heat in 48.31 before triumphing in the final in 48.09, a mark which moves him to number 4 on the under 20 all-time lists over the senior hurdles. His time in the heats was number 6 under 20 of all time, while his 48.09 is the fastest ever by an under 18 athlete, although World Athletics does not have official lists for under 18s on the senior hurdles. But really, really impressive. And again, Japan has a tradition in the 400 hurdles, so that plays out. But let's get back now to the seniors. National championships last weekend saw the first group of countries hold their national championships, including Jamaica, Great Britain, Kenya, Nigeria, Trinidad and Tobago, the Bahamas, and Slovenia. So let's take a quick look at the best of the best from those competitions. 18 to 21 June, Jamaican championships. Great 100-meter finals were the highlights, as expected. 100-meter world champion Oblique Sevilla powered home in a world-leading 9.82, and unbelievably, it was his first national title. Under 20 athlete Gary Card was second in an excellent 9.93, moving to equal number 3 in the under 20 all-time list, while Akeem Blake was third in 9.94. Kishane Thompson and Brian Lavelle, both battling injuries, were unable to take part. Now, Chris, once again, Jamaica's male sprinters shine, and Sevilla proved last year in Tokyo that he can again take a 100-meter gold at major championships. It was the first time since Usain Bolt in 2015.
Yes, well, he's showing you that he's not a flute or a one-hit wonder. And he's also letting you know, too, that with his first championship global title of winning the national championship, he's also showing that Jamaica's sprint is still alive and very much active, and he's going to defend his title, or he's looking forward to defending his title. So, again, it goes to show that taking care of that body, how important it is for you to be able to do what you're doing, because as one champion is down, the next person is in line waiting to take ownership. And so consistency is one thing, staying healthy is another thing. People would love to see what it would have been had him and Kishane was in the same race. So again, you just got to be able to take care of the body going forward. But hats off to him for winning his championship. Oblique shows that he has what it takes, and he's willing to make himself a global household name, not just by one title, but he wants more of it. And he wants to show that as every other country is getting prepared and getting ready, he wants everybody to know that Jamaica is still there and they are ready as well and prepared and getting ready for whatever global competition is coming. He wants to show that we have a space in the finals.
For sure. And among the women, double 200-meter world champion Sharika Jackson ran 10.81 in the short sprint, her first outing at the distance this year, to defeat World Championship silver medalist Tina Clayton, who is 10 years her junior. Now, Chris, Sharika is having a great year and is still the fastest lady in Jamaica over 200 and also very strong, on the 100.
Yes. Well, again, when you have a championship and a history of female sprinters, great female sprinters, is not hard to find the next best thing that's coming behind. And as consistent as Clayton is and was, she also knows that there's one or two veterans ahead of her, and the veterans they're not gonna give you the victory. You have to go out there and take it. And once you take it, then they know you're ready for the global competition. But Sharika Jackson has a household name. She's been to this level before. She knows what it takes. She knows what's at stake, and she's healthy and she's in great form and great shape, and she's showing it. And she's not going to come to the line knowing she's not ready to run. But it's also good to see that they also had 3 women that went under 11 seconds. That shows you that the depth that they have coming behind, and they want to continue that legacy, that tradition that Jamaican female sprinters been consistent. They've been on the global stage, and this is no mistake by what you're seeing now. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to take it and what they do on that given day, because again, any little mistake can cost you a title. But again, when you're going up against a veteran knows what it takes, and they're gonna do their best to make sure that they stay victorious, because she knows that her time is not yet near ending. So she wants to prove that she has a lot more left in the tank, and it's going to take a lot to defeat her and take a crown from her.
Absolutely. Now, 19 to 21 June, Kenyan championships took place in Nairobi and also served as selection for the Commonwealth Games. Now, while fast times are rare in high altitude at the middle and long distances where Kenya's stars excel, the competition saw good performances by reigning 800-meter world champion Lilian Odira to 02.44. Lois Chemnung, who was the runner-up in the Boston Marathon, triumphed in the 10,000 meters. Interestingly, 2019 1,500-meter world champion Timothy Cheruyot came out the winner in 3:32.28, and Simon Koech in the 3,000 steeplechase took the win over under 20 Tokyo bronze medalist Edmund Serem. Slovenian championships in Maribor, 2022 world champion Christian Se threw a massive 71 meters 86 in the discus, proving once again that outside the special conditions in Ramona, he is the strongest in the event. And finally, British championships. Star performance in Birmingham came from Georgia Hunter-Bell in the 800. The Tokyo silver medalist ran a solo 1:55.93, proving again that she can contend with her fellow World Championships medalist Audrey Wero and Keely Hodgkinson for 800-meter glory. Now, Hodgkinson, the world indoor record holder, had decided to contest the 400, but finally didn't start. Now, Chris, is there anything you would like to highlight from the Bahamas Nationals or from other countries in the Caribbean?
Well, I'd just like to highlight that, the European athletes as well, and the athletes in Asia and Africa, they are also joining this global sensation with top elite athletes, world record holders. They too don't want to be left out, because at the end of the day, it's a global event, and they want to show that they have the tools, and they also have the personnels and the trainers and the massage therapists and the coaches that are well qualified to get them on that level as well. And everybody right now showing you a glimpse of what kind of star power that they have, and that's what makes the game interesting, because when you predict that this person may take the crown, you may have a new rising star that may show up on the day of and take the crown, and also you may have persons who are favorite to win that may not win. But again, this what makes the sport exciting, and every country right now is showcasing what kind of talent that they have, and they're going to bring, and they're getting ready as well. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the new talent that's coming up, and being able to watch their personalities as well on the track and off the track, because again, this is a totally new generation of athletes that's coming up, and they want a piece of the puzzle. They want a piece of the pie, and they want to be able to go to the table as well and get themselves a global title, and that's what everybody's gearing up for. And so kudos to everybody who's been doing it. Sitting from the side and not being in it, you really don't get to see that side of the picture. But being on the sidelines and watching, you get to see how everybody's preparing for major championships, and you get to see what country is doing what and who has the pieces of the puzzle to be able to go out there and compete at the best and at the global stage. And so now being on the outside, it's a good seat to watch, and I see now that when you're on this seat, it's better to be on the side watching than inside competing, because so much nerves are going on at the same time, whereas you're just enjoying the show and sitting back and relaxing and enjoying the ride and watching the new talent just come in and go out and seeing who's going to be victorious and who's not. And it's a good feeling. I'm just glad that I'm not in it to win it. So I know where my seat stands, and I'm going to stick to it, and I look for a great show this season, and I wish all the athletes great success this season.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
now,
you.
Before we conclude our roundup of the athletics action from the past fortnight, I'd like to speak about a very special event, and that's the Comrades Marathon. It's the world's oldest and largest ultramarathon between Durban on the coast and Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. That's 54.6 miles, approximately 88 kilometers. The direction alternates every year. It was first held in 1921 with 34 runners, was created by a World War I veteran to honor fallen comrades. In 23, Frances Hayward was the first woman to start and finish the race. In 1935, Robert Mshali was the first Black man to start and finish the race. In 1975, the race was officially desegregated and open to women. Now, we must remember that the IOC banned South Africa from 1964 until 1992 for apartheid policy. So this was being run openly well before the ban was lifted. The 2026 edition was the shortest ever at 85.777 kilometers. Now, hold on here. 20,349 starters, vast majority of them South African, 18,276 finishers. That's 91% who finished this grueling race. After South Africa, the top 10 countries, Zimbabwe, Botswana, India, Great Britain, Brazil, Russia, Zambia, Swaziland, Namibia, and the US. This edition was an up run from sea level. It rose 1,750 meters, that's 5,700 feet. There's 5 major hills, the steepest one in the last 10 kilometers. Cutoff time 12 hours, and there's pacing buses to help runners keep pace, led by what they call bus drivers, who are the pacers. So this year's edition saw South Africans George Kusch in 5 hours 15:56 and Gerda Stein in 5:44:53, breaking course records. And the top 5 men ran under the previous world record set in 2008 by Russia's Leonid Svetsov. Now, the press release from the organizer said history was rewritten, but some disagreed because the course, as we saw, was slightly shorter than usual. Still, an absolutely amazing race. Now, Chris, can you imagine over 18,000 athletes completing an uphill race, which was over 85 kilometers long?
I couldn't. I'll have to be there to see that. Now, that one right there is something I would want to pay to go and watch. but I don't know if I can handle that, doing that type of distance and uphill. It was already tough getting around the track, so being able to do something like that, kudos for them. Congratulations to all of them to build that nerve up to go and do that, because it takes a different type of nerve to do some things like that, and that's one of them. You have to be built different. So kudos for everybody who's taking part in that. That is something I definitely would love to see. And maybe when I lose a few more screws in my head, then maybe I'll be able to go and try it out myself.
So, Chris, time to own up. What was the furthest you ever ran?
I think maybe about 6 miles, six to 8 miles, but I did that during practice session. I've never did it in competition. Um, I'm not built that different yet, but I'm sure if I can do 6 miles for conditioning, I think I can do it in a competition as well. So maybe one day I'll do the Peachtree Road Race here and start off with that first and see how that pans out, and then go from there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I ran a few 10Ks in training. I'd run a bunch of times over the half marathon, but I never picked up the courage to do it in an actual race.
Same
Mm.
here. We in the same shoe, so I don't feel bad now that we both in the same boat. So when you do yours, I'm gonna do mine as well, and we do it together. We be a combination of doing it together.
Okay, great. And we'll motivate each other.
Yes, for sure.
Now, to remain in South Africa, congratulations to the Cape Town Marathon, which earned a second positive evaluation and will therefore in 2027 join the Abbott World Marathon Majors, the series which includes all the world's top marathons, except Valencia, who prefer to go it alone and do not intend to join. And it's really cool that Africa, which produces so many of the world's top runners, now has a race of the series on its soil. And
Yes.
the legendary Eliud Kipchoge had kicked off his Eliud World Tour at this year's edition exactly a month ago, his first time running a marathon on the continent. So that concludes our review of the athletics highlights of the past 2 weeks. It's time now to go back to the global overview of our sport and check out all the best results since our last show, starting with the senior men's events. And we continue adding in brackets marks which are regular, which are listed on the respected Tila Stopaya website, but which do not appear on World Athletics. So among the men, we saw a world lead of 9.82 in the 100 meters by Oblique Sevilla at the national championships. There was also a 9.89 by the USA's Courtney Wilson in Winter Garden, and 9.93 by under 20 athlete Gary Card at the nationals, which, as we saw, is number 3 on the under 20 all-time list. 9.93 also for Favor Ash at the Nigerian championships, and 9.94 for Kayinsola Ajayi at the NCAAs in Eugene, 9.95 for Jaden Reed of Cayman Islands in the semis in Eugene. Windy marks, 9.72 by both Kayinsola Ajayi and Kenny Bednarek, also 9.82 by Jaden Reed, 9.84 by Christian Coleman, 9.86 by Lance Lang, 8.7 by Jelani Watkins and Marcellus Moore, 9.88 by Devontae Howell and Abdul Rashid Saminu of Ghana in Los Angeles. Over the 150 meters, we mentioned the world best of 14.67 by Noah Lyles, followed quite closely by Sinesifo Dambile in 14.78, with Gout world under 20 best with 14.96. 200 meters, another excellent mark by the Cayman Islands' Jaden Reed, who leads the 200 meters list with 9.63. That's worth 1,279 points, extremely good. 19.74 for Sinesifo Dambile in Doha, 19.84 for Letsile Tebogo in Oslo, 19.88 for Makanakaishe Charamba of Zimbabwe behind Letsile, 19.92 for Brandon Hicklin in Winter Garden, and 19.93 for Sam Blazowski behind him. 400 meters, excellent 43.38 world lead by Nigeria's Samuel Ogazi at the NCAAs, worth 1,295 points, moves him to number 4 in the all-time list. Behind him, under 20 athlete Jonathan Sims, 43.92, strengthens his number 2 in the under 20 all-time lists. And in third in that race was Sidin Jie, also an under 20 athlete. 800 meters, we saw great performance by Cooper Lutkenhouse, 1:42.08, just edging the world and Olympic champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi by 1/1000th of a second. 3,000 meters, a very good 7:28.67 by Francis Jimmy Gressier in Montreuil. 5,000 meters, excellent race in Oslo, as we saw. Adiso Yihune took it in 12:47.62. 2 area records for Bihar Nubalev behind him, and Kai Robinson of Australia further down the list. And all excellent marks for the top 10 athletes. 110-meter hurdle, so world record by Jacoby Tharp in the semifinals of the NCAA. That's worth a huge 1,304 points. Then in the final, Tharp was surprised by Kendrick Smallwood, but actually he won with 12.90 ahead of Kendrick Smallwood with 12.95. Jamal Britt, 12.99 in Los Angeles, finally moving under 13 seconds, 13.02 for Kendrick Smallwood in the semis, 13.03 for Trey Cunningham in Los Angeles, 13.07 for Braxton Brand in Eugene. 400 hurdles, another, as we saw, fabulous performance by Alison Dos Santos in Oslo, 46.89 is worth 1,290 points, and further back, 47.40 for Karsten Warholm. Mateus Lima of Brazil, 47.64 in Ostrava. In the pole vault, first win, as we saw in Doha, for Emmanuel Caralis, but it was only on countback, 5.92 for him, same as Chris Nielsen and Sondre Guttormsen. Long jump, world under 20 record by George Jodelin. In the long jump, there was also a windy 8.54 by Miltiadis Tetoglu, with 4.3 meters per second behind him. Triple jump, we mentioned the very good competition in Doha. Pichardo 17.71, Jordan Scott 17.69, and Yasser Mohamed Triki 17.67. Shot put in Rathdrum, Idaho on 20 June, Jordan Geist 22 meters 24. On 13 June in Pergine Valsugana, 22 meters 14 for Leo Fabri, 21 meters 94 for Rajendra Campbell in Los Angeles, 21.91 for Leo Fabri in Ostrava, another win for him, and 21.83 for Roger Stein in Usti nad Labem in the Czech Republic. Discus throw, we mentioned the excellent 71 meters 86 by Christian Se at the Slovenian National Championships, but also a very good 70 meters 60 for Nicolas Alekna, returning from injury, and 69.35 for Christian Se behind Alekna in Gjøvik. In the hammer throw, excellent for 82 meters 44, world lead by France's Yann Chaussinon on 13 June, and 82 meters 38 for Mikhailo Kokan behind the French. Some interesting marks in the relays at NCAAs. Auburn took the win in the 4x100 with 37.75 with Modadzim Fami, Kayinsola Ajay, Austin Cressley, and Tyler Davis. In the 4x400, the title went to Georgia in 2:57.93 with Say Ricks, Sidingie, London Constant, and Jonathan Sims. With two great under 20 athletes, it's no surprise they won the title. So let's look now at the best women's marks of the last fortnight. We mentioned 10.63 for Adeja Hodge in the semifinals at the NCAAs, but there was also a very good 10.77 for Shakari Richardson on 20 June in Winter Garden, 10.81 for Sharika Jackson with a slight headwind at the Jamaican Nationals, 10.85 for Tina Clayton behind Sharika. A windy 10.76 as we saw in Oslo for St. Lucia Julian Alfred. Over 200, another world lead, 21.68 for British Virgin Islands Adeja Hodge, also into a slight headwind, and she moves to number 8, equal in the under 20 all-time list. She also had run 12.96 in the semis. 400 meters, 48.79 by Dejania Oakley to take the title at the NCAAs, moves to number 13 in the all-time list. Marilady Paulino back for her debut this year, 48.91. And Madison White, 48.97, second at the NCAAs. Audrey Werro, 154.45, as we saw in Ostrava, better than number 8 in the all-time list, but she already has the number 3 best, which she set in Stockholm. In the 100 hurdles, 12.26 for Masai Russell in Los Angeles, and a very good 12.40 for Demisha Roswell at the Jamaican Nationals on 21 June. 400 hurdles, it's been almost all about Emma Zapletalova, 52.30 in Doha, moves to number 6 in the all-time lists. Behind her, Russell Clayton, 53.05. Zapletalova had also run 53.13 in Oslo. Pole vault, a very good 4 meters 91 by Russia's Polina Knoros in Cheboksary. Long jump, as we saw, 7 meters 20 by Tara Davis Woodhall. That's the world lead. And also 7:06 by Alyssa Jones at the NCAAs. And of course, the windy 7.25 by Tara Davis Woodhall in Los Angeles. Triple jump, good performance by Davisleidi Velasco in Doha, first jump over 15 meters in 2 years. In the shot put, Chase Jackson has been coming back strong after Jessica Schilder had been very strong this season. 2074 for the Americans in Oslo and 2053 for her in Los Angeles. In the discus throw, excellent 70 meters 29 for Valerie Zion in Rathdrum and 69.15 for her at the Los Angeles Grand Prix. Hammer throw, a very good 79 meters 09 for Brooke Anderson in Wilmington. That was the day before the Los Angeles Grand Prix. But unfortunately, Anderson suffered a freak accident, dislocating her shoulder. She is having surgery today and will be out for the rest of the season. So get well soon, Brooke. 5,000 meters road race, 14:26 on 19 June in Utrecht by Kenya's Caroline Makandi Gitonga. She moves to number 10, equal in the all-time list. In the relays, 41.58 world lead for UCS at University of Southern California at the NCAAs. Dajas DeFrand, Mia Brahe Pedersen, Madison White, and Brianna Selby. And behind them, 41.74 for LSU. 4x4, a very good mark by Arkansas, 3:18.88. So those were the top marks of the past fortnight, but what are the 10 best performances of the year so far? Among the men, there were no new entries in the top 10, but it's absolutely crazy that a world record worth over 1,300 points does not make the cut. So we have extended the list to the top 12 for the men. So the two marks by Mondo Duplantis, 6:31 world record in Uppsala, and his 6:25 winning mark at the World Indoors continue to head the list, 1,353 points and 1,336. Then the two top athletes in the London Marathon, Sebastian Saue, 1,328 points, and Yomif Kejelcha, 1,324. Then Matthew Denny in the discus in Ramona, 1,319. Cole Hawker with his area indoor record in Winston-Salem, 1,318. Same total as Steven Richter of Germany in the discus. Emmanuel Caralis with 6:17, that's worth 1,314. Josh Hoey's world indoor 800-meter record is worth 1,311, as is Matthew Denny's 73 meters 58 in Ramona. In 11, we have Jacob Kiplimo, 1,309. And in 12, we have Jacoby Tharp with his 12.75 world record in the semis of the NCAA over the 110 hurdles. So let's now check the women. Here there were two new entries in the last fortnight, both by the same athletes. So the best performance of the year remains Valerie Zion with her 73 meters 10 in the discus in Ramona. That's worth 1,313. 10K Agnes Jebetten-Getic, 1,306. In the marathon, Foyten Tesfaye in Barcelona, 1,303. Then Jan Gillies, 71 meters 74 in the discus in Xiamen, world under 20 and second best ever, is worth 1,296. And here we have our first new entry, Adaja Hodge in the 100 meters with 10.63, moves to number 5 in the all-time list, and that's worth 1,282 points. Then two 10K marks, Brenda Jepchirchir and Likina Ameba. Jessica Schilder's 21 meters 09 in Kirchau. Discus Jorinde van Klinken in Ramona. And the number 10 mark is 21.68 over the 200 for Adeja Hodge, as we saw, number 8 equal in the all-time list. Now, there were also great performances, and we've mentioned some of them in the show, among under 20 and under 18 athletes. So let's look at all the best under 20 performances. 100 meters, we mentioned Gary Card finishing second in the Jamaican Nationals with 9.93. He moves to number equal 3 on the under 20 all-time list. There's also a mark in the Nike High School Nationals. Now, World Athletics doesn't include performances in competitions that are not on their calendar. And unfortunately for underage athletes, a lot of the high school competitions are not. But 10:01 for Jake O'Day Jordan, that would be number 14 equal on the under 20 all-time list. Over the 200, 19.94 for Tate Taylor. He moves to number 4 on the under 20 all-time list. And that was at the US under 20 championships. So World Athletics has it. And behind him, 20:02 for Blake Hamilton, who moves to number 8 equal, under 20 of all time. 400 meters, we mentioned 43.92 for Jonathan Sims at the NCAAs, and 44.20 for Sidin Jie, who moves to number 4 in the under 20 all-time list. Also very interesting mark of 44.52 for Jaden De Leon at the US under 20 championships, who moves to number 11 in the age category all-time list. 800 meters, we've spoken about Cooper Lutkenhaus, 1:48.02 in Oslo. 110 hurdles, these were totally shaken up. Liezra Brown, 12.95, Zacchaeus Brooks and Liezra Brown, 12.98. 13 flat for Zacchaeus Brooks in the heats, 13:01 for Jashawn Lloyd in the final, 13:04 for Jashawn Lloyd in the heats, 13:06 for Joshua K. Smith in the final. And there's also a 13:08 for Joshua K. Smith at the Nike High School Nationals, but that's not on World Athletics. 400 hurdles, we mentioned the excellent 48:09 by under 18 athlete Taiju Goto, winning the Japan Senior National Championships. That's number 4 on the under 20 all-time list on the senior height. He had run 48.31 in the semis. Pole vault, we've mentioned 5 meters 82 for Zacharia Dia, moves to number 2 on the under 20 all-time list, with only Mondo Duplantis ahead of him. 6.46 world under 20 record for Cuba's Jorge Jodelin. 3,000, when we move now to the women, 3,000 meters, 8:34.48 for Ethiopia's Yenenes Shimket. That's better than number 15 on the all-time list for her age category, but she already has number 5. 100 meters, 12.91 for Madeline Cooper at the US under 20 championships. Pole vault, 4.54 for Hannah Grace at the NCAAs in Eugene. Hammer throw, under 20 world lead of 70.73 for Finland's Pina Kerha, moves to number 6 on the under 20 all-time list. And Clara Hegeman, who had been the strongest athlete so far this year with 69.28, also set a very good mark. Javelin, we've mentioned that Jan Gigi won the Diamond League in Oslo with 67.11, and that's the second best mark in the under 20 all-time list. And Jan has all the top 9. Very interesting mark by Switzerland's relay, 43.52 in Mannheim in an under 20 competition. Karina Celia Stettler, Siena Buri, Milla Tonazzi, and Mara Schwitzer moved to number 6 in the under 20 all-time list. And in another competition in Germany, in Regensburg, Germany under 20, 43.92. Emma Goretzka, Anne Böcker, Paula Springstein, Lena Anoshili has a mark that are better than the 14 on the under 20 all-time list, but Germany under 20 already have the third best ever. So let's look now at the under 18s. We've mentioned Alex Siepersad at the national championships in Port of Spain and Trinidad and Tobago. He clocked 10.16 and moves to number 7 equal on the under 18 all-time list. In Doha, Nigeria's Salem Faisal clocked 10.19, which was then the equal number 9 on the all-time list before Siepersad ran faster. And Dylan Mitchell at the US under 20s had run in 10.21, which is equal number 4 on his age category all-time list, but he already has number 5. 110 hurdles, excellent 13.14 by Jacario Wilson of the Bahamas at the national championships, moves to number 11 on the under 18 all-time list. We've already mentioned in the 400 hurdles 2 great marks of 48.31 and 48.09 by Japan's Taiju Goto. And finally, in the pole vault, a mark by Caden Haisong, 6 meters 49 at the Nike Nationals. That would make him number 7 equal on the under 18 all-time list. And among the women, again at the Nike Nationals, so not counted by World Athletics, 11.18 for Melanie Doggett. That she's only 14. That would be number 15 equal on the under 18 all-time list. At 22.77 windy mark for Cameron Daly of the US. Over the 200, again a mark at the Nike Nationals by Melanie Doggett, 22.48 would be the equal number 5 on the under 18 all-time lists. 800 meters, very good mark by Slovenia's Živa Remic in Funkstadt, 159.64, moves to number 6 on the under 18 all-time list. 1500 meters, 401.32 for Ethiopia's Elsabet Amare, moves to number 6 on the under 18 all-time list. And on 19 June, 2 days later, 403.56, another excellent mark by Ethiopia's Haregewini Kalayu. 100 hurdles. This again was at a high school competition, the New Balance Nationals in Philadelphia, 13:04 for Jasmine Jackson. And in the heptathlon, 5,866 points for Finland's Alisa Launonen, who already has the world lead this year. That's better than number 16 on the all-time list, but the mark she set earlier in the year is already number 9. So Chris, we're now coming towards the end of the show. And it's your second or third time on it. So I'd like to ask you, what do you think of the format? Are you enjoying it?
Definitely, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to many more episodes. I love the show. I think you guys are doing a great job, and we need more of this in track and field to continue to promote our sport, to continue to highlight our top elite athletes, whether they're on the junior level or senior level. But it's always good to have some type of representation and a platform to be able to give feedback and to be able to keep our sport alive. So I think what you guys are doing is a tremendous job. Hats off for the hard work and all the best for the team that's helping to put this together. But I definitely 100% support this initiative, and I think that more of it needs to be have. And I look forward to watching more of it. And hopefully, this will not be my last time on the show.
Definitely not your last time on the show. Mhm. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank
So
you.
let's
Thanks for
look now
having
at
me.
upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. So starting today with the city events, Boris Hanzekovic meeting in Zagreb in Croatia, 26th to 28th June, Pan American Athletics Championships in Medellin, Colombia. 27-28 June, Ratingen Mehrkampf meeting. 28 June, Paris Diamond League. 3 and 4 July, main event on the 4th, the Prefontaine Classic. 9 to 12 July, Asian Under-23 Championships in China. 10 July, Hercules Diamond League meeting in Monaco. 11 and 12, Vyacheslav Chapevsky Memorial, that's a combined event gold meeting in Poland. 12 July, marathon in Porto Alegre, Brazil. 14 July, Istvan July Memorial in Budapest. 16 to 19 July, European Under-18 Championships in Rieti. 18 July, London Diamond League meeting. 23 to 26, USATF Outdoor Championships in New York. And 24 to 26, national championships in many other countries. 27 July to 1st August, Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. 2 to 8 August, Central America and Caribbean Games in Santo Domingo. 5 to 9 August, World Under-20 Championships in Eugene. And 10 to 16 August, European Athletics Championships in Birmingham. So we're now at the end of our program, and it was great having Chris Brown with us on the show. He had to rush off. So thank you, Chris. Thank you all for watching, and see you on 2 weeks on Love Athletics to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what has been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. And before that, we'll be at the Paris Diamond League this weekend, and we'll bring you interviews from the athletes' pre-meeting press points and from the mix zone. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. See you soon.